The New York Times writes, for President Biden, a political liability that may not go away soon. The collapse of a plea deal and the appointment of a special counsel to investigate Hunter Biden means that the president could face more political fallout. They thought it was over, that they could put it in the rearview mirror. All that Hunter Biden had to do was show up in a courtroom, answer a few questions, sign some paperwork, and that would be it. Not that the Republicans would let it go, but any real danger would be past. Except that it did not work out that way. The criminal investigation that President Biden's advisors believed was all but done has instead been given new life with the collapse of the plea agreement and the appointment of a special counsel who now might bring the president's son to trial. The Wall Street Journal writes, Hawaii officials were warned years ago that Lahaina faced high wildfire risk. It's just really frustrating and heartbreaking to see that some things could have been done, said the author of a 2014 report warning that the Maui town was at extremely high risk of burning. The Washington Post writes, Maui death toll reaches 80 as authorities race to contain wildfires. The death toll from the Hawaii wildfires rose to 80, Maui County officials said in an update late Friday. Firefighters are continuing work to extinguish flare-ups and contain fires in Lahaina, Pelehu, Kihei and upcountry Maui. And the death toll is expected to rise in the coming days. USA Today writes, number of Maui wildfire deaths rises to 80. The number of deaths resulting from the fires on the island has risen to 80, according to a statement by Maui County on Friday. The number of confirmed fatalities in the 9 p.m. announcement increased from the previous figure of 67. A fire that caused an evacuation in Ka'anapali was completely extinguished by 8:30 p.m. The fire, which was completely extinguished before 8:30 p.m., occurred in an area where a county fueling station was set up to distribute about 3,000 gallons of gasoline and 500 gallons of diesel fuel for about 400 waiting vehicles. Fuel would not be distributed on Saturday, the county said in a statement. Los Angeles Times writes, opinion. What Hawaii needs now from California, our sister state. McNamara. If the Maui fires don't wake up Americans to the climate emergency, nothing will. Chabria. As Lahaina mourns tragedy, another crisis is coming. Chicago Tribune writes, Illinois Supreme Court upholds state sweeping gun ban. The Illinois Supreme Court upheld the state's sweeping gun ban, fending off the first major challenge to the landmark law, which now awaits its fate before a federal appellate court. New York Post writes, hikers who found actor Julian Sands' remains on mountain speak out on discovery for first time, had eerie fear of finding dead body. The group of hikers that found actor Julian Sands' body months after he vanished in the Southern California mountains have spoken out about the surreal experience for the first time. Sands, 65, was reported missing by his wife on January 13 after the Killing Fields star never returned from a hike in the San Gabriel Mountains outside of Los Angeles. He was last seen in the area of Mount Baldy, which is notoriously treacherous for hikers. Newsday writes, Gilgo prosecutors to rely on DNA, cell phone records and other evidence to make their case. The DNA, coupled with cell phone records connecting Rex A. Heuermann to the women around the times they disappeared and the similarities in the way the bodies were disposed of, is the type of evidence that the prosecution is expected to make central to their case, law enforcement and legal experts told Newsday. Star Tribune writes, Minneapolis police officer shot, injured during ambush on city's north side. A Minneapolis police officer was shot and wounded by automatic gunfire during an apparent ambush while pursuing a robbery suspect in an unmarked car on the city's north side late Friday night, Police Chief Brian O'Hara said. The 7-year department veteran was struck in the back of the shoulder and taken to North Memorial Health, where he remains in stable condition. By the grace of God, he is alive, awake and talking, O'Hara said during a late-night news conference. This incident underscores the incredible courage, bravery, and truly the restraint of our officers as they face incredible challenges today, putting their lives on the line to protect strangers. The Denver Post writes, Broncos stock report. Who's up, who's down after loss to Arizona in preseason opener? Benito was arguably the Broncos' best defensive player Friday night, with the second-year outside linebacker notching 3 tackles, a split sack and a quarterback hit while using his speed to get in the backfield. Benito's best play of the night happened in the second quarter when he charged toward Cardinals quarterback Clayton Tune before changing direction to stop running back Corey Clement on third down. Benito left the game after the play due to a hip injury, according to the game broadcast. Outside linebacker was one of the biggest question marks heading into training camp. However, Benito and Jonathan Cooper have shown that Denver's edge rushing depth might be better than expected.